We're now joined by a former House member, class of '94, who found his way to the other body, as they say in Congress, the senior senator from the Palmetto State, South Carolina's Lindsey Graham. Everybody.
Thank you very much.
Senator Graham, thanks for being here today. The great thing about Senator Graham is that a lot of folks don't realize this.
There are many to choose from.
A lot of folks don't know this, but he's actually bilingual. He speaks two languages. He speaks fluent MAGA and Donald Trump, but he also speaks fluent EU and NATO and Munich Security Conference.
I don't know about fluent, but I can.
You're conversant.
I can get to the train station.
You're conversant. So what is your message for your friends from Europe here who are obviously nervous?
Yeah. Well, if you're nervous, have a beer, go see a doctor. Stop being nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Yeah. The point is, everybody loves NATO. Well, I love it more because people are doing more. Chancellor Merz, NATO good. How many of you believe NATO would be contributing this much money if it weren't for Trump? You don't have to raise your hand. He's making them do it. He's giving them a reason to do it, and they're doing it, so let's celebrate.
Yeah. You think Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump were the ones that finally got Europe to start spending money?
Yeah, I think Trump has put infrastructure in place that's going to make Putin's I have to think a lot. What is that infrastructure? The strongest army in Europe is Ukraine. Not even close.
Yeah.
Now, how did that happen? Europe, the United States, working together, gave them what they need, slowly at first, better now. And they've shown a willingness to fight, second to none, really. It's kind of like a fight for survival. It's good
Incredible.
to... It's heartwarming to see people willing to die for their freedom. It's sad that they have to. So here's what I tell my European friends. Greenland is behind us, but the goal is to get outcomes.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit who owns Greenland? I don't. So the point is, Greenland is going to be more fortified because Donald Trump, once he feels like it's his brand or some buy-in, is going to go big.
You think the issue, though, is behind us?
I think so. Ronald Reagan said something that's very compelling to me. He said, nobody washes a rental car.
Yeah. Right.
So at least I don't.
Right.
And
you got to have some skin in the game. Yeah.
I think he's gotten Greenland where he's got skin in the game. It was a stupid, if Trump wants it, we have to say no. Right. You know, in Denmark, I like Denmark, but they did a poll between Harris and Trump for the 2024 race.
Yeah.
Trump got 4%. So
it was like
therein lies the problem.
Saddam Hussein margins. Yeah. So what does that look like? Does that mean that there's going to be a large U.S. and NATO contingent of troops now going to Greenland? Are we going to build a third or a fourth base there? What's that?
I don't think you need a bunch of troops. You need technology.
Okay.
You need to be able to watch the enemy, find out what they're doing before they know you find out. It's really strategically located. It's on the outer end of our hemisphere. It's where the Russians have to come out and engage the world, and it's just a great location. Trump knows one thing: location, location, location.
So we're going to have more of a U.S. presence there, whether it's actual troops or just intelligence, technology.
It's going to be on the big side.
And the Danes are fine with that?
I think we're good. I'm going to meet them this afternoon. I think everybody's hugging it out, and we'll live to fight another day.
They're all hugging it out. You heard it here.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me what you want to accomplish here in Munich, because there are a couple things on your mind, I think.
Number one, not get sick.
Okay.
Yeah,
so far, so good.
I don't know
Staying
about
away
that.
here. Okay.
The more you drink, maybe the better. But I want to do two things.
The Pilsner. Yeah.
Talk about where we're going with President Trump and NATO. We're going big. You just got to understand the terms of the debate. President Trump has been forward-leaning on Europe should do more. You are. He's been forward-leaning that Europe should buy weapons. They are.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, I think when it's all said and done in 2028 or 2032 or 2040, whenever he leaves, we will have a stronger NATO, a weaker Russia. And let me tell you why I'm here. It's in our interest to have a stronger NATO and a weaker Russia. So there's three things I want to accomplish. 4 years, like in a week or so, is the anniversary of the invasion, right? 4 years. All I can say is that for a country that should have been overwhelmed in 3 weeks, they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
The javelins mattered. Trump gave them that. But here's where I think we're at. Not enough to get Putin to the table.
So how do we get to do that?
More pressure, more cost. I'm going to advocate that we provide Tomahawk training quickly to the Ukrainian military so we can reach out and hit targets deeper in Russia that are part of the supply chain, making drones, all that kind of stuff.
And you and Senator Blumenthal, I think, had a conversation this week with some folks in the Senate about that secondary sanctions bill that you two have sponsored. Is that going to happen finally?
Well, I hope so. There'll be 50 Republican votes for the bill. And what does this bill do?
And there's 53 senators in total, by the way, guys, if you're keeping math, in the Republican conference. Go ahead.
Right, yeah. I think we might lose 3, maybe even less.
Right.
The bottom line, what does this bill do? It allows the president to put tariffs on people who buy Russian oil that don't help Ukraine. What are the 3 largest purchasers of Russian oil? China, India, and Brazil. Right. I was with the Indian ambassador about a month ago. The 25% tariff, Jonathan, on India mattered.
Right.
Before the war, they were buying about 3% of their oil from Russia. After the invasion, they went up to almost 30% because it's dirt cheap. Trump comes along and puts a 25% tariff. They're going the other way. But the big one is China. Yeah. The key to ending the war in Russia runs through Beijing. Yeah. So I had dinner with the Chinese ambassador, very delightful fellow. Yeah. I saved all the bad stuff for the end because I didn't want to miss the dinner.
What did he say?
Well, I said, listen, pal, tell me about China. We love harmony. We love family. And we love all things in moderation. I said, well, you loving harmony would be a tough sell in Ukraine. Moderation, you're buying all the cheap oil you can buy from the worst people on the planet. Right. Right? And it's a good thing about family. But if I had to live with all my family in one house, 3 people would be dead in a week. So we're different. And enough through the bullshit flag. I told him, I don't want a conflict, but you can help end this war, and Russian cheap oil will be less cheap for China soon. Now, I got 85 co-sponsors on this bill. Yeah. Do you know how hard it is to get 85 senators to agree on anything in this environment?
For mom and apple pie, yeah, exactly.
So Thune says we're going to move, and hopefully he'll do a statement soon.
Like, Thune maybe brings the bill up?
Pick a date.
February, March.
Sooner rather than later, he's going to do that. Our Democratic friends, you need to go talk to them. We're going to bring 50 votes to the table. That's what we're going to bring.
And didn't President Trump convey to you, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now, that he would sign the bill?
He's asked me like 3 times, where's the bill? He went from like, I don't know about this, to, yeah, this is a good idea.
So if Thune moves it, he'll sign it, you think?
Huh?
If Thune moves it, he'll sign it, you think?
Oh, totally.
Trump will.
I mean, we've been working with him for 6 months to get the tariffs in a way to give them the maximum. But there's a 3-year sunset. It's not like we're giving all the tariffs in the world to Trump.
Senator,
sunset 3
he's
years.
going to China in April, President Trump is.
Yeah.
He wants to do a big economic deal with the Chinese in April. Do you think that that's one challenge that he may not want to jam the Chinese with secondary sanctions?
Well, I just think the conversation around economic integration between the United States and China, normal, you can't be normal when you're not normal.
You're buying oil from Russia, you mean?
You're propping up Putin's war machine. You're responsible above all others for thousands of innocent people being killed. Right. Enough already. Yeah. I'd like to be normal to the extent you can be normal with China. They're doing it with Iran, Venezuela, and Russia. Yeah. If Russia changed their policy, if China changed their policy toward these rogue states who live off carbon fuels, the world would be a better place. I am intent on giving China a better choice than they have today.
All right, let's look at the big picture right now. 2026 could be a historic year. Obviously, the regime has already been, shall we say, altered in Caracas. Do you think by the end of this calendar year that we will have regime change in Iran, Cuba, and Venezuela?
Well, let's look at it the other way. What if by the end of the year the Ayatollah is still standing? Absolute generational disaster. We can't do all the things we've done, which were right, and at the end of the day not follow through.
What should we do there now?
Well, just let me talk.
Sure.
So the bottom line is President Trump has put Iran in a weakened state, the weakest since 1979.
Yep.
The difference between what we were talking about just a few months ago and now is the uprising of the people. Nobody saw that coming. History is determined by how you handle the odd event. The ground troops are the Iranian people. I told President Trump, there's a bit of magic going on in Iran. They've done this before, but they've never done it in this fashion, this long, and we've never had an American president say, keep protesting. So when Reagan went to the Berlin Wall, he didn't say, do you mind lowering it? He said, tear it down. So when Trump was asked about the protesters, what should they do? He said, keep protesting, help is on the way. Now that's going to be the most consequential statement he made, maybe in his entire presidency. If we follow through and do the things we're capable of doing with risk, and the regime falls, it would be the biggest change in 1,000 years to the Mideast. Abraham Accords expand pretty quickly. I think Saudi, Israel get back to the table. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis die on the vine because the mothership, the Ayatollah, was sunk. The other side is true. What happens the day after? Well, I think the people in the street want less Ayatollah, not more. I'm willing to risk their being a better partner with us than the Ayatollah. That makes perfect sense to me. But here's the question. What happens if we do not follow through? What's the day after?
Yeah.
Radicalism will reignite. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis will have a shot in the arm. The Arabs will go back into their corners. The Iranian people will be systematically destroyed and slaughtered over the arc of time if the Ayatollah stays in power. I don't think there's a deal on the planet he will honor. So next question's coming, but two things I've learned on this trip. How many people believe that Putin wants all of Ukraine?
Right.
How many people believe he wants the Donbass?
Right.
You got to answer these questions.
Right.
What does he want?
Right.
Is this the Falklands War? No.
Right.
This is territorial conquest with a grand vision. He wants to annihilate Ukraine as a people.
Yeah.
He would take the Donbass, but he's not going to stop until somebody makes him stop.
But let's stick with Iran for a minute, though. So President Trump said help is on the way. So where's the help?
Well, the help is we're doing a lot of things you probably don't know about.
You want to tell us?
Huh?
Do you want to tell us today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's extra. You have to pay extra for that. So,
All right, folks, get into your wallets here.
Yeah.
This is Graham Premium.
That's right,
You
yeah.
got to pony up,
Yeah.
folks.
So we're doing some things, and our friends in Israel doing something. We're negotiating. Fine. I don't care.
What's the negotiation? Because Trump says, do a deal, do a deal. What's that mean?
Well, what's the goal? Is the goal
your
regime
goal
change?
is regime change. That's your goal. Is it Trump's goal?
No, the people's goal is regime change. That's my goal. Would you want to live in Iran? Would you want your daughter dragged off a bus and beaten to death because she doesn't have the scarf on right? Would you want to live in abject poverty where a few people get everything and most people get nothing? So this uprising is real.
Yeah.
Trump's embraced it to his credit, but you got to follow through. Now, what does the Ayatollah want? I told you what Putin wants. He wants to rewrite the map of Europe, get as much Soviet Union back as he can. He wants to wipe out Ukraine or at least take the Donbass. If you don't get that, you missed a lot of what he said. What does the Ayatollah want? He wants to purify Islam. If you don't get that, anybody heard of the 12th Mahdi, the missing imam? You need to study this stuff. It's a religious theocracy. Hitler wrote a book, said, I want to kill all the Jews. Nobody believed him. They should have.
Right.
This guy wants to purify Islam. He wants to displace Saudi Arabia, the Sunni wing. He wants to destroy the Zionist regime, wipe Israel off the map, and come after us, the great Satan. These are three things he wants that most people can't wrap their head around. every now and then somebody will come along in history who's nuts,
Yeah.
drunk with a religion, drunk with Aryan power. Hitler wanted a master race. The Ayatollah wants a master religion. I don't know why, but I believe him.
So what's stopping the president from using force there, you think, right now?
Well, I think we don't want to just, we want to use force in a way to create an objective. We want to use diplomacy to create an objective. Here's my objective. The Ayatollah will not be in charge of Iran.
Is that President Trump's goal too?
You need to ask him. He said we needed new leadership.
Next.
He said 3 things.
Yeah.
Keep protesting, help is on the way,
Yeah.
and we need new leadership.
Yeah.
The guys in there mean and corrupt.
Right.
Those 3 things he said. I agree with all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Now, again, if after saying those things and encouraging people, the world, not just the United States, pulls the plug and the Ayatollah survives, it will be a disaster.
What does that say?
It means you can't rely on America yet again. It means the Western world is full of crap. All they do is talk.
Right.
They come to Munich and they have a schnapps and give good speeches, and when rubber meets the road, they don't do a damn thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen any European capital say, let's get behind the protesters?
Yeah.
Look what happened with Gaza. Have you seen any massive demonstration of European people or American people saying the Ayatollah is a plague on mankind, he has American blood on his hands, he's a constant threat to regional stability and world order, we're with the Iranian people? No, I haven't seen that.
You're very connected in the Middle East.
And that disappoints me that I haven't seen that.
You're very connected, in the region. Is it true that some of the other countries in the region are using back channels and, frankly, pretty urgently to urge President Trump not to use force against Iran?
No, I don't believe that to be totally accurate, but I'm going to Israel, UAE, and Saudi Arabia.
Next.
Next.
What are you going to say? What are you going to tell them?
Hello, I hadn't seen you in 2 weeks, just checking in on you.
It's been weeks.
No.
Which is long for you.
I want you to get off the Ayatollah's back. He's misunderstood. That's my message. So,
He needs therapy.
yeah. So the bottom line is diplomacy. I hope it can yield results. What's the result I'm looking for? That we are good to our word, that the people's needs are met, that the terrorist network that was created after 1979 goes away, and the people can pick their next leader, and the Ayatollah's regime will somehow go away like others have. We do that diplomatically, great. Any deal has to come to the Senate. So anything you negotiate with Iran has to come to the Senate. Anything you negotiate with Russia and Ukraine has to come to the Senate. I have been fairly bipartisan on stuff like this. If it's a good deal, I will say so. If it's not a good deal, I will say so. Too much is at risk.
Let's stay in our hemisphere for a minute. What should the U.S. posture toward Cuba be going forward?
Get ready to have a partner in the future. They won't be with us. The Communist Party, the communist dictatorship in Putin will, in Cuba will die on a vine in 2026. Venezuela's gone, Russia's gone, China's gone. I hear Russia may be sending some products to Cuba. Trump's going to hit Mexico. They're going to be starved in terms of energy product. The communist dictatorship will fall.
This year.
Yes. Yeah. Venezuela, one of the most amazing military operations in the history of the planet. What happens next? Over time, people will want to be integrated into the world in Venezuela, not isolated.
But what does the U.S. do, Senator, when there's a massive migration of Cubans who come across the straits and land in Florida?
Don't let them land if we need to. But the point is, Cuba's going to fall, and you got it wrong. People are going to go back to Cuba.
If the exiles today in Florida will go back.
Yeah, well, they may not. They will. Yes, the Cuban community in Florida is going to be the best hope of rebuilding Cuba. They just got to be able to go back and have the ability to do it. So just stunningly, what did I say? In 2026, I really believe that Venezuela, Cuba, and the Iranian regime will all collapse. That, to me, is history being made in so many different ways. the narco-terrorist states we've suffered under, American being poisoned, are going to be incredibly weakened. Yeah. If the mothership Iran goes down, there goes Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis. Peace breaks out in a bigger way.
So we heard some of this 20 years ago when you were a junior senator, and obviously there were regime change in places like Iraq, and the aftermath didn't go well. How do we avoid the mistakes of the past?
Well, number one, I think we're better off with Saddam out of power. Iraq is complicated. The Shiite militias, they lose their juice if Iran goes down. Anbar province, where all the Sunnis are, you got the Kurds. They're beginning to function somewhat. You know, what I want for the Mideast is somewhere between Jeffersonian democracy and Louisiana, just anywhere in the middle. So,
going negative on Louisiana, just like them, and during Mardi Gras too. It's so unfortunate.
I love Louisiana.
There we go.
You know, I visited often, but it's the end state.
Gumbo. Yeah.
What is the end state for me, Jonathan?
Yeah.
That the mothership of terrorism collapses due to the demands of their people, not some foreign power.
Right.
Okay. What's my goal for Russia? That we end the war, making it less likely Taiwan will be taken by China. Yeah. How you end this war is going to determine the stability of the world one way or the other. Yeah. If it's perceived we sold out Ukraine, then there goes Taiwan in fairly quick order.
Speaking of China, Speaker Pelosi was sitting right here a minute ago, and she said the Hong Kong authorities just sentenced Jimmy Lai to 20 years in prison. It's an outrageous charge for committing the crime of free speech and a free press. Yeah. Do you think President Trump should still go to China in April if that sentence is not repealed?
Oh, I'd like to get the man relief, but yeah, because we worked with the Soviet Union during World War II. You just got to do what you got to do sometimes. Yeah. China. I want him to go to China and put on the table a very beneficial relationship, win-win for both countries, but I also want him to use the leverage that we have to end the war in Russia. Yeah. I think that should be part of it, is to get China to do that. So what does China want? They want to expand their economic and military capability to be one of the major powers in the world, if not the dominant power. What does the Ayatollah want? He's a religious Nazi. What does Putin want? He dreams of a reconstructed Soviet Union. Yeah. What did Venezuela want? Just to stay around and have power. Yeah. You got to know what the person on the other side of the table wants. We can't give the Ayatollah what he wants. We can't give Putin what he wants. We can negotiate with other people. We can negotiate with China.
Yeah. Let me ask you about what happened in Congress this week, especially in the House, Senator. Is your party tired of the tariff threats, the tariff stuff, the tariff drama?
Well, I think we lost 6 people. Listen, I didn't really understand the power of tariffs until Trump started using it. Right. Everybody's a free trader, whatever that means. Yeah. Do you think the border being secured had a lot to do with tariffs threatened against Mexico? Absolutely. If you don't get that, you're missed a lot. He's used these tariffs to get trade deals we wouldn't gotten otherwise. So my bill, 85 co-sponsored, would give him tariff power connected to the Russia-Ukraine conflict for a 3-year period. Yeah. So we'll figure out what authority we want to give the president to enact national security and good economic policy. The courts will weigh in. I hope we can pass our bill. But here's the one thing I can tell you. If we don't get more aggressive against Putin, this war is just going to keep going. Yeah. The negotiations, you don't want to be loosey with the football where just every time something happens. So Witkoff and Kushner have really worked really hard. We're down to a few issues, but I believe Putin's going to keep going because he thinks he can take the Donbass by force. But he's weak right now. Yeah. If we gave him the tomahawks, they could use them, it would hurt. If we could hit his customers yet again, that would hurt. Right.
Let's end with a couple of questions on politics here as we wrap, Senator. You came into the Senate in 2002, replacing Senator Thurmond. And in that class was a judge from Texas by the name of John Cornyn. Now, Senator Cornyn's facing, obviously, a primary this year in Texas. In fact, it's next month. Why hasn't President Trump endorsed an incumbent U.S. senator who's been a pretty good ally of his? And do you think he will at some point?
I don't know. I mean, I like Senator Cornyn. He's been a great member of the conference, so we support each other. But, at the end of the day, Paxton was very close to President Trump during all the lawsuit stuff. Yeah. I don't know where he's going to come out. I'm supporting Senator Cornyn.
Have you encouraged the president to help Cornyn?
His endorsement matters unlike anything I've seen. I've never seen an endorsement in the history of politics matter like this.
Right.
So let's just wrap this thing up. Why am I here? If we don't get
I was asking about Bill Cassidy and that endorsement now. You know,
yeah.
He's trying to get away from that one.
while we're here, not about Texas politics, we're here at a crucial moment, folks. If we don't follow through what we promised the people of Iran, it will destroy America's credibility for years to come. It will make this world less safe. We're on the verge of getting Putin, I think's attention. We're not there yet. If we get a deal where you have an independent Ukraine and a security guarantee to prevent a third invasion, you've done the world a great service. If that deal is a sellout, there goes Taiwan. That's why I'm here. To Europe, do more. I'm glad you're doing more. Keep it up.
And Taiwan, you think, really is in the balance here?
Very much in the balance.
Because Beijing goes and invades.
How Ukraine winds up will dramatically influence China's behavior. If you don't get that, you've missed a lot.
And final question, you're up for re-election senator this year as well. You're in cycle in South Carolina. You've had a long career in politics.
Not long enough.
You obviously want to serve at least 6 more years. You're passionate about a lot of these foreign policy issues. What do you want your legacy to be, especially when it comes to foreign policy and national security?
That I spoke up, shared my thoughts, creatively put together coalitions that move the ball. I'm not about making speeches alone. I'm about putting networks together, like 85 senators that helped end the war in Russia, Ukraine. I am the leading out front guy that the people are right, the Ayatollah needs to go. I've been to the Mideast a lot. Now, I tell people, you can't have it both ways. You can't bitch and moan that we got attacked and say, how did that happen? Well, when you try to prevent the attack, you've got to have a presence over there so they don't come here. Radical Islam is not going to surrender. It has to be contained. Putin and China and other people are going to take as much as they can until somebody makes them stop. Why do I care about this stuff? John McCain was the guy I first came here with. He wanted a strong America. I think President Trump has not got us entangled in anything like flypaper, but he sure has moved the ball a lot. The threat of tariffs, the use of military force, the uncertainty combination.
And he's not the isolationist that folks feared, right?
There are a lot of people who are dead would say that, but they can't because they're dead, and they don't live in America. So he's not an isolationist.
What is he?
He's also.
What is he, do you think?
I think he has a view of American strength. Starting with, do we have reliable partners? In his mind, if you're not doing your fair share, you're going to pay a price. I like that. In his mind, if you're a reliable friend, we'll be there for you, even though you're not a perfect friend. I actually like that. He's in everybody's head. Nobody on the planet in this business is not thinking about what Donald Trump will do tomorrow, including me. So the Chinese guy came in, the ambassador says, what do you think about Trump? I said, well, if you're not a little worried about him, then you're crazy. All I can say is he's managed this, sometimes inartfully, but he's managed to get outcomes that I think are beneficial to our backyard, could change the face of the Mideast, and could stop China. He talks to China, but what is he doing with a Navy? Donald Trump is going to make China wake up one day and say, where did all this shit come from? That's my goal, is to expand. He wants a $1.5 trillion budget. How would you spend that money? The big deterrence is China. How can we prevent them from going into Taiwan? How can we get them to throttle back the aggression they have toward their neighbor? Show up, being willing to confront China, but hope we don't.
The 21st century, I think, will be defined in part by whether or not we deter China from going to Taiwan.
I think there are 3 things going to define it. The map of Europe's being rewritten again by force of arms. How does that end?
How do you constrain Putin? How do you constrain Putin?
Yes, right. how did that end?
Right. Yep.
Did he get rewarded, or was it I think he's on track to be the biggest blunder he's ever made.
Yep.
We just got to stay firm. The Ayatollah is a religious Nazi.
Yep.
If you don't think he would use a nuclear weapon, you're literally not listening to him. And 80 years after the Holocaust, Israel can't take that bet. I do believe he would use a weapon as part of his religious agenda. To me, it's not even close.
And number 3 is China.
And 3 is China. China's far more complicated, but China, I wouldn't trade our hand for theirs. And here's what President Trump believes. There's not a person in the room he can meet with from anywhere in the world he doesn't have a better hand. And that's what I've been waiting on all my adult life, is to have a president who understands that Iran is Iran and we're America, and they can hurt us, and we got to be smart, but we win. Somebody asked Ronald Reagan, how does the Cold War end?
Yeah.
We win, they lose.
Right.
This is
Same with Iran. Same with Iran.
This is Donald Trump in a nutshell. America is going to do well in any engagement we get into. Some of it's transactional, some of it's strategic. But Donald Trump believes that he has the best hand in the world, militarily and economically, and other people sense he believes that. That is a major change, and I really applaud him for not getting us entangled, but getting us outcomes.
An Iran regime change would, for you, be a career signature, right? That's
what, people ask me, what keeps you up at night? President Trump, some, because you can call it one. What are you doing? Well, I was asleep, but anyway. So
he calls you your cell phone overnight or middle of the night, and what's he asking you? Like, what's he saying, Trump?
How you playing golf? Just anything and everything. But I enjoy the guy. I really.
Everything from your short game to the Ayatollah.
Yeah, but just I've got more connection to him than any president. So, I get all the drama, but really, I really very much appreciate this relationship. So what I think is going to happen here is that by the end of the year, we're going to set the course of every region on the planet for decades to come. If we follow through with Cuba, right? If we follow through with the regime falling because the people want it to fall, if we can end this war, end this war in Russia or Ukraine, where Putin was probably worse off having done it, and this is all going to happen this year.
And keep China away from Taiwan.
Yes, and how do you do that? Ukraine.
Yeah.
A bigger Navy in Ukraine. This is why I don't sleep well. Simply because it's all going to happen in weeks or months. What does keep me up at night? An Ayatollah-like person getting a weapon of mass destruction that could kill more Americans in the blink of the eye than we've lost since World War II. That's coming if we don't stop Iran now. If they survive, and they may sign a deal, as soon as Trump's gone, they'll cheat.
Right.
And we're back on course to giving religious Nazis power to upend the world. That's what keeps me up at night. If we could take this regime down by backing the people, then the thing I worry the most about is a terrorist attack on the United States with a weapon of mass
dirty bomb
destruction.
or WMD.
Or even worse.
Senator, we're glad to have you awake for this.
Thank you.
And thanks for being here. Senator Lindsey Graham, everybody. Thank you so much.